Hello, my name is Noelle Harden, and I'm excited to be running for office for my first time to represent Ward 3 on the Moorhead City Council in Minnesota. I've been a homeowner in the Woodlawn Park neighborhood for the last 5 years, where I live with my son Barry, a 7th grader at Horizon East, and my partner Chris. My top priorities as a candidate are to support families, protect public health and safety, and to be an effective steward of our city budget. I've worked at the University of Minnesota Extension as an educator for over a decade, where my entire job has been to work with communities to identify their needs and to use my power with the university to address those needs. I've worked on a wide range of issues such as food security, the opioid epidemic, community resilience, and have trained public health professionals on how to take a systems approaches in their work. My most proud success at the university is to create our participatory grant-making program, where I've worked with government entities and private funders across the country to empower communities to have a say in how dollars are used to support them. On a more personal level, my family grew up moving around the country a lot, and I've lived in many other places before my 18 years in Minnesota. There were times growing up when my parents could not afford rent, struggled to put food on the table, and when we didn't own a car and relied on public transportation. These experiences have made me a resilient, adaptable, and compassionate leader dedicated to serving the best interests of families. The number one challenge that I'm concerned with and have been hearing about from my neighbors is public safety. I know from participating in the Moorhead Citizens Government Academy this past spring that our police department is understaffed, overwhelmed, and that we need to take a multifaceted approach to address this issue. We've been experiencing a rapid increase in the volume of calls that the police are fielding. At the same time, we have a number of positions that are unfilled. Recently, we've seen an increase in the number of calls to about 34,000 annually. I also know that we spend about $14 million a year on our police budget, which is the highest investment that we make through our city budget. So addressing this issue is going to be challenging, and it needs to be balanced with the other needs that we have as a community. The first step that I would take on this and any other issues is to talk with the key stakeholders, look at the short and long-term data and trends, and I would love to be able to document the experiences that our first responders are having on the ground, as well as hear their ideas about how we could more effectively use our police budget. Another step that I would take related to that is to get a better understanding of our recruiting strategies, how well they're working, and also to understand why people are leaving both the police and fire departments. So I'd be really interested in hearing some of the themes that come up in exit interviews. Another strategy that I would take is to address this holistically by looking for ways to improve the quality of life of our residents and the working conditions for our first responders. I know from my experience that if we address things like affordable housing, food security, the opioid epidemic, and other substance use concerns, that we can prevent crimes and fires from happening in the first place. So I would love to also look at some of our new initiatives, such as having a community resource navigator, the Community Safety Alliance, and to also look at what's been working as far as community risk reduction. My third strategy on this topic is to look at our city budget, which I know that we need to increase our tax base, and that we can do that through development as well as increasing home ownership rates in our community. I also would lean on my experience in participatory budgeting to hear directly from staff at all levels of our police and fire department, as well as our community members, to get a better understanding of which investments to prioritize, which ones maybe haven't been as effective as we'd hoped, and to frame our city budget around the needs of our community. So again, I know that this will be a tough issue, but I believe that we can address it by deeply listening to our first responders and our community members. So thank you for taking the time to listen to me today, and don't forget to vote.